Welcome to our video lesson on the volume of cylinders. The really interesting thing about volume, remember that volume is for three-dimensional or 3D shapes. So if you want to measure the amount of space inside something, you'd be measuring the volume. So when we think about the volume of all prisms, a prism is something that looks like this, or a rectangular prism is a shape that looks, oh my drawing's rough, a shape that looks like that, like a box, or a triangular prism could be a Toblerone bar box, something that looks somewhat like that. Sorry, my drawings aren't very good. Something that looks like those are prisms. The volume of all prisms is the area of the base times its height. If you look at the cylinder and think about it in terms of a cylinder, what that really means is the area of the base, so this circle here, or this circle way down here, stacked on top of each other, the whole height. That's really all that this cylinder here is a whole bunch of circles of the same size stacked on one on top of the other, just continue to be stacked to make it into this three-dimensional shape. That's why the volume is the area of the base times its height, because your height tells you how many little circles are stacked on top of each other. Okay, for a cylinder, if we know that the volume of a cylinder is the area of the base times its height, well, the base here is a circle, and we know the formula for the area of a circle is pi times r squared. And then we multiply that times h, or the height. So it's very similar to an area problem that we would have done last week, in that you just multiply together the area. So if I was trying to find the volume of this cylinder, I am going to write it is equal to, instead of pi, 3.14 times r, which in this case I have r because, see, my line here only goes to the middle. So it's times 2 squared times h, which is 7. Alright, my next line, I'm going to get rid of this squared up here. To do that, I'm going to write it's hard to see my point there, 3.14 times 2 times 2 times 7. Okay, I know that 3.14 times 2, if I do that on the side, you can do this multiplication in any order that you want. I'm going to do it in the most straightforward order, which is from left to right, but if you see another trick that you think will make it easier, go for it and do it that way. So 3.14 times 2, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, and then we count our decimal places, 1, 2, and we add that many into our problem. So we have 6 and 28 hundredths times 2 times 7. Next, I'm going to multiply my 6 and 28 hundredths times 2. I'm going to erase this and do that right here on the side again. 6.28 times 2. 2 times 8 is 16, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 2 times 6 is 12. And we have 1, 2 decimal places, so 1, 2. We get that that is equal to 12 and 56 hundredths. Now we still have our times 7 left here. So now we're going to multiply 12 and 56 hundredths, times 7. So 12.56 times 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. Then we have 1, 2 decimal places, so 1, 2 decimal places in my answer. And my answer is 87 492 hundredths. Okay, whenever you get to this point in the problem, you feel relieved, because you're done. But you need to remember your units. Please don't forget them. I look back at my problem. What units was I given in my problem? That's centimeters. So I know this is going to be measured in centimeters. However, because this is volume means that our units are going to be cubed. Centimeters cubed with this little 3 up here because it's 3D. Remember that it's a 3-dimensional object, so you need centimeters cubed. You should have this whole thing written down in your notebook. If you have any questions about what I just did, please raise your hand and ask. We're going to do one more example. Here is another cylinder. This cylinder is just turned on its side, so it looks a little bit different, but it's exactly the same. It's several circles that have been stacked, but this time beside each other instead of up and down. So again, it's going to be the area of the base, which is our circle, times the height, which is our 4. Step 1 is always to write your formula. So V is equal to pi r squared h. Next step, plug in our numbers. Okay, I'm going to erase this so we can see our diagram a little bit clearer. I know that pi is 3.14. Okay, and then times r. Okay, in this problem though, do we have our r? I'm looking at the circle on the end here. We've been told that this distance here is 3 meters. And that distance, since it measures the whole way across the circle, is the diameter, not the radius. You have to watch for this in the problems, okay? This here, this number, is the diameter. Well, we know that the diameter is twice the radius. So if the diameter is 3 meters, that means that our radius is half of that, so 1.5 meters. So right here, instead of writing 3, I'm going to write 1.5. And because I have the squared up there, it means 1.5 squared times h, which is our height, which is 4. Okay, our next line. Let's expand this. Write this out as big as we can. So we have 3 and 14 hundredths times 1.5 times 1.5. That gets rid of the squared times 4. And again, I'm just going to multiply it from left to right, but if you see an easier way to do it, as long as it's correct, go for it. My first step is to multiply 3 and 14 hundredths times 1.5. So 3.14 times 1.5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. Add my 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Add those two together. 0, 11, 5, 6, 7, 4. Then I have to look back at my decimal places. How many decimal places do I have in my question? 1, 2, 3. So I need to make sure my answer has 3 decimal places in it. So I know that this is equal to 4.710. You don't need to write the 0, but if you do, that's fine. Okay, so I've combined these two into this. Now I still have my times 1.5 times 4. Okay, my next step is 4.710 times 1.5. I'm going to erase this so that I have space to do my work. Actually, I'm going to erase this R too. And 4.710 times 1.5. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23. Add a 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 4 is 4. Well, that doesn't look like a 7. And then I add these two together. 0, 5, 6, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I count the number of decimal places in my question. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer is 7.0650, and then I still need to multiply that by 4. And again, I'm going to erase this section here, so that I have some space to work on. Okay, last step, 7.0650 times 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 is 26. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 4 times 7 is 28. And I have 4 decimal places in my question, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4 in my answer. I'm going to write that this is 28.26. I'm not going to bother writing these zeros because it means the same thing. And then I think, woof, I'm done the hard part. Now I need to think about my units. What units is this measured in? Meters. And remember that because it's volume sorry, it's going to be meters cubed. And that's it. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask me, or feel free to rewatch any part of the video.